job I'm working on. Beautiful Monday. Hopefully I'll get done the next couple days here, because I'm getting tired of driving down, and it's been taking a lot longer than what it should, really. I mean, I haven't been there really full time, so it's taking a little more time than I planned. I told him I'd be there a short time, really, compared to what I've been. But that's alright, because he's not in a big panic to get me out of there. I know he wants it done so he can continue on, but his plans have changed somewhat too, so hopefully get down there and get out of there this week. There's quite a bit of wood there. Alright, we made her here. Scaled my piles. You can see the smoke in the excavator there. He's burning piles. I'll take my cover off, check that oiler hole. Give this thing a scuff. Get this to focus in, maybe. See the old chain's getting... It doesn't want to focus. No. Well, the chain's getting more out. It's down to the witness mark. Here's a 5/32 file. Here's what I do when they start getting wore. You can see, well, like I say, it's hard to, you can see that tooth is sharpened well. It's down to the bottom. Any lower you'll be into that other link, which you could take it lower now, because of course you're getting less of a hook as that tooth shrinks as it goes back. The 5/32 file doesn't really fit in it all that though. Oh, apparently I got another one. That was the file I was looking for. Here she be. 3/16 file. That's for the 550. Now that this chain is wore that much, I prefer that in that chain, because it'll give you a better bit of a hook. You don't want too much hook anyway, because it won't last. You want a decent hook. Too much hook, you'll wear that chain will dull quick. But too less of a hook, it doesn't cut as good as I'd like. So anyway, so I use this 3/16 file as that chain gets wore down that much. Gives you a little better cut. As you can see here, we got an absolute dandy of a road. They started ripping some stumps. Got a beautiful road here, all the way back to the hill, which is where it's hard. You can see it's wet. They were pulling some stumps and doing some burning. Anyway, I'll get it to these guys here and head back to where I'm cutting. Cool. So every time I go in here, I back in, of course. Tractor's a little harder, but the porter or something's nice, because of course you don't have the nose swing I'd like to do with the tractor. Wet section here. More wet. God, that old mud stinks. Doesn't have that good mud smell. It's got a very poor, I don't know, shitty like smell or something. As you can see, it's a little swampy here too, of course. We got rain, so that of course didn't help. Water levels are up pretty high really through here. This is my brushed in section. But you can see sand's not too far back here. Well, this is all wet. As long as I keep my stumps down too, I won't get caught on them. Sometimes you forget to do that. So the back corner's there. Other corner's right there by that big pine. There's not much in here. A few little maple. So by today, I hope to God I have this little section here cleaned up. Of course, one man cutting and one man hauling, and it's the same man, so it does take time. I put about 50 hours on my tractor since it arrived here, so I should say over 50 hours. And I got some from yesterday chopped up there. Pretty decent old tree there. Make a good log or two in the bottom. And of course a bunch of smaller fir all through there, so that's easy pickings. That'll be quick and dirty. A couple clumps of maple, that'll be fast. So that one big pine in the corner. So that back section, this section here shouldn't be much to clean up really. And then of course there's not much here either. Well, half it's dead standing, so it'll just be knock off. As I cut the good stuff, I will junk it off. Then actually that poor dead stuff, of course not that so much, but there's a hackmatack in through that, between those two. It's really shitty looking on the bottom, so once I get everything else cleaned up around it, I can drop that. Then maybe find if I can get some good logs out of it, or if it's the whole thing's junk. Once everything else is cleaned up around it, it won't matter if it lays in the way. But I don't want it in the way while I'm in there cleaning up the good stuff. A few trees here like that, so that's why I'm going to leave them standing till the end, so they're not in my way. Nothing worse than dropping a tree down in the way. Well, it's on 6 o'clock. I guess that's enough for today. Small studwood pile, mostly spruce. Fir or two in it, but not very many. 10 footers, 14, maybe an odd 12. And my pine pile's grown, getting a little bigger. I got one more pine to cut, and that can venture off. Just hack 'em a tack. Hardwood pile. I've got another load, a little over a load here. Already shipped 2 truckloads. And I got just fir studwood with some spruce. Yeah, should be another 14 cord here. They pressure washed the machine, got a little dirty, but and they pressure washed the excavator, but get some splatter. But anyway, that's good for today, I guess. Head her home, get some supper. And we'll see you on the next one.